Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here with PodiumArcher.com talking about the 2022 Hoyt Highline. This is Sasquatch bow, lurch bow from Hoyt in 2022. It's got the same cam system on it that all the other bows in the line have, with the exception of the Eclipse. And it runs from like 29 inches to 34 inches, two different modules in there. Really forgiving, long, awesome little shooting bow for a longer draw length guy. I think this might actually take the cake in long draw length bows this year, but after we get done reviewing this and the Revolt XL and every other bow we still need to review that's current production that we carry, we will do a comparable video with this, the Revolt XL and the Atlas. And we'll do those at longer draw length to where they're more comparable to the person probably looking at this bow. But for today's review, we're going to do this at 30 inches and 70 pounds, just like every other bow we do. Now, I've been getting a lot of comments about you didn't weigh the bow, you didn't check the weight. Well, we do check the weight ahead of time, but we're going to go ahead and do it on video from now going forward, so we can eliminate those little comments of people thinking that we forgot to do our job along the way somewhere. So in any event, this bow is rated at 345 feet a second. I'm going to go ahead and assume that they rated that at 34 inches. So at 30 inches, this is going to be way slower with the high brace height that it has. The axle to axle is 36.5, brace height 7.25. Mass weight is 4.9, and it's available in 50 pound, 60 pound, or 70 pound peaks. So let's weigh our physical weight. And it's at 5.6 to 5.7, which is pretty close considering that's a half a pound. Mind you, it comes with a stabilizer, so let's be fair about that. Let's see what the draw weight looks like. $72.8, so we'll take it down just a little bit. So we're trying to be equal here. Normally we would preset that, but since we're making sure you actually see that it is that weight, we're going to do it in front of you. Most of these Hoyts that we've gotten in have been 2 or 3 pounds heavy so far when we check them. 70.7, close enough, I would think. That's probably fair. Yeah, the bow draw is really easy, so I think it's going to be a pretty smooth shooting bow, but it's probably going to be pretty slow. But without further ado, let's see. They did integrate the Picatinny and the rear mount Picatinny just like the other bows this year, so they didn't really cut any corners when they made this long draw length bow. So for big guys, I would be real happy, I would assume. But let's see how it stacks up. That's pretty darn dead. Draw's real smooth. Granted, I'm only shooting it at 30 inches, so it's at the low end of the wheel spectrum. Tiny little reverb and then it's gone. It goes away pretty quick, really. It's pretty darn smooth. Oh, we forgot to measure the axle to axle and the brace height. Where's the measuring tape at? We'll check those in a second for you. We'll come back to that in between this and shooting it to the crony. Yeah, that's pretty low. I think it's really comparable with the Atlas that we tested last year, but we'll do a side-by-side comparison here in a little bit. All right, so brace height is supposed to be 7 and hold on a second, 7 and 7/8. Sorry, I quoted that wrong. My eyes are starting to go. I'm getting old. Yep, 7 and 7/8. That's a good number. And the axle to axle is 36.25. 36.25. Good solid numbers on that, Hoyt. That's pretty darn accurate. So let's pull those out and see how fast this thing is. I'm betting 308. I bet you it's about 308. All right, 30 inches, 70 pounds, 350 grain arrow. Ooh, that's close. 290. Yeah. $291. So let's keep in mind, people, this bow is designed for long draw length people, so it's definitely going to be slow. But that's what, 35 feet slower than the Ventum 33, I think. 295 on that one, so we'll give it 293. Go ahead and measure that Aero Weight on film for you so you can see it. Hang on. 349.9. So yeah, 350 grain arrow. So there you go, folks. It's a 350 grain arrow, 70 pounds, which you saw on the scale at 30 inches, according to their module settings. We're not going to hard measure those. We'll do those in a deeper dive because that takes a lot of time. And this is supposed to be a first look, not an elaborate test. But we got an average of, I'll give it 292 with the 290, 291, and 295. Average that out, 292, which is drastically slow. But this bow is not designed for speed, and it's not designed for 30 inches. It's designed for probably 33. Somewhere in that vicinity is really what it's built for, but I bet you it's actually pretty snappy at 32 considering its brace height. One thing we have noticed with the Hoyt cam systems, the last year's and this year's, they're basically the same. They made some small changes to it, but they're hard to see or hard to feel. It feels pretty similar to me. There's a drastic speed difference when you go from the smaller module to the bigger module on the in-between sizes, and those do not overlap. So you don't have a choice which one you're going to use at a certain point. If in this bow you happen to be 32.5, you're going to be about 10 to 12 feet a second slower than a 32-inch draw length person because of how the module system works. So in their line, I would strongly consider avoiding the larger module in the short setting because it is a dog in that position. There was another comment about the RX-7 Ultra being tested with a number 3 module. Well, that would have been 30.5. We tested it with a number 2 module. It just shot pretty slow, surprisingly. It felt really great, but it shot slow. So we are being as honest and as fair as we can and testing them all in an equal fashion. We do test them the way they send them to us. So if there's something wrong with the bow, they send it to us wrong, and that should probably be on them, not on us. So all in all, this bow does feel really good. It is heavy and big, but it's designed for a big person, so I would imagine they could probably handle it being heavy and big. But it incorporates every feature that all the new Hoyts have, which is great that they didn't cut any corners or leave something off with all the other bows that they put into in this bow system. So all in all, this is a pretty nice long draw length bow, and I'm anxious to see how it chalks up against the Revolt XL and an Atlas, and I will stretch myself out and shoot those and test those at 32 at that time to be probably a little more realistically fair comparison for a long draw length person. Head on over to podiumarcher.com for all your archery needs. $99 and up is free shipping. If there's stuff in there that you're looking for you can't find, please message and let me know. If there's any way we can get it on there and list it that way, we will put it up and get it to you. And if we can't, we'll let you know where you can get it from or how you can purchase it if we can't be the ones to purchase it for you or send it to you. Hit like, hit subscribe, keep coming back. Put stuff down in the comments. It always gives me information to come back and change what we're doing a little bit or show you a little more information along each one that we do because you're asking for it or commenting that we're not doing it. So within reason, of course. Things that take a ridiculous amount of time I can't do on every little bow on a basic review. Maybe a little more in depth on the most common selling bows or the most popular bows, but stuff like this that's not, going to be a big seller we can't spend an immense amount of time with. And we get these out as fast as we can. We unboxed this bow about an hour ago, and we'll hopefully be editing this tonight or tomorrow and getting out to you in a couple of days. If they get them to us sooner, we get them to you sooner. That's the whole goal. So appreciate you guys coming back and appreciate you keep looking. We've got at least 5 or 6 more bow reviews minimum, and then we're on to accessory reviews where there's a lot of neat, exciting stuff going on. So keep checking us out.